Hello and welcome to App Talks, a series of conversations with Salesforce customers about how AppExchange apps are helping improve business outcomes. I'm Andrew Gothelf, Marketing Manager with the Salesforce AppExchange. Today we're on Bainbridge Island in Washington on the campus of IslandWood, and I'm joined by Jennifer Sharp, Director of Accounting, and Erica Williams, Senior Accountant at IslandWood, to learn about how they use Intacct Cloud ERP. Jennifer, Erica, thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks for hosting me. I'm wondering if we could start by having you just explain a little bit about IslandWood and its mission.
IslandWood's mission is to provide extraordinary learning experiences to inspire lifelong community and environmental stewardship. We do that through our school overnight program, which is here on our 255-acre campus, through our two master graduate programs, our school programs that are delivered in Seattle, and even educational programming at a wastewater treatment plant. To support these programs, we have a robust fundraising department and also the income generated from our conferences and event sales.
We can hear some of those programs in the background with the kids that are having fun today. So we're here to talk about Intacct today, and I'm wondering if we could start by just going back and talking about some of the technology and some of the struggles you were having before implementing Intacct.
Sure. Since 1999, we had Blackbaud's Financial Edge installed on computers in the accounting department. After 12 years of use, it became apparent that we needed to move to the cloud. The system was inflexible. It didn't integrate with any other systems. The reporting was rigid and basic, and it had very infrequent updates.
We're also using lots of different spreadsheets and QuickBooks, and we were only invoicing at the end of the month for our school and conference event services.
So it sounds like you were using a bunch of different systems that didn't integrate well together. Can you tell me how that was negatively impacting your day-to-day job?
We were a rapidly growing nonprofit with over 20 different departments, and we were spending a lot of time just doing data entry. We were really just a keeper of information at that point. We were using a lot of spreadsheets, which resulted in duplication of efforts, inefficiencies, potential errors, and we couldn't report on really real-time information. This resulted in often some departments were actually reporting out their own financial information because we weren't integrated and we couldn't give them real-time data, and that made me very uncomfortable.
In addition, we were only entering our sales information at the end of each month, and we were using QuickBooks, which was only installed on two systems, which meant that we could not get the information out timely at all. There was also no place to share and store pricing information, and the quotes were being sent out on spreadsheets. The sales team was also using their own information, not the price book we now use with Intacct.
So prior to becoming an Intacct customer, IslandWood became a Salesforce customer. Can you walk me through that timeline and then talk a little bit about what the search for a cloud ERP solution was like?
Our philanthropy team had switched over to Salesforce about a year and a half before we moved to Intacct, primarily for its flexibility, but also for its potential to integrate with other partners. So when I started looking for an ERP, I knew it had to integrate with Salesforce, I knew it needed to be on the cloud, and I assumed it also had to be nonprofit software. But as I started my search, I wasn't finding anything that really met all three of those criteria. And I thought, well, if it's a really good system, it can be adapted to our nonprofit business needs. And that's where I found Intacct.
It was important that the system was flexible, could get rid of our paper processes, and also allow us to share information across our organization. We also needed a product that could integrate with other systems so that it could be the hub for all the financial information, which would ensure data integrity across our organization.
So you had a very specific set of needs in an ERP solution. What made Intacct the right one?
Intacct was very intentional, both with their product and the direction that they were headed, and I was really impressed with how much they knew about the specific needs of a nonprofit. They didn't try to do everything. They were able to make themselves accessible and compatible with other systems so that they could really focus on what they do best, which was their infrastructure. And it was clear that they were going to be a leader in the industry.
Let's dive into your use of Intacct Cloud ERP a little bit. Can you tell me about some of the different departments that are using Intacct and what functionalities you're getting the most out of?
I use it with the philanthropy department. They put all of their information into Salesforce and I bring it into Intacct. And I see exactly the same description that they do in their Salesforce. So when we problem solve, it's really easy. It has totally transformed the way our departments have worked together. With accounts payable, it's smooth, it's easy, it's flexible, and it's so intuitive that bringing on a new accounting team member is easy as well. And for reporting, whether it's for the board or department manager or maybe even for a specific fundraising activity, I can easily create and modify and share that information.
You mentioned integration and flexibility was really important in your search for an ERP. So can you tell me about some of the technology integrations that you're currently using, as well as I understand you're using Salesforce CPQ. So what's that integration with Intacct like?
Intacct is the central nervous system for all of our financial information. And with Salesforce, we've been able to eliminate a lot of outlier systems and processes. With the integrated products that Intacct offers, we've been able to streamline and get away from duplicate data entry, specifically with the use of adaptive insights for budgeting, Nexonia for credit card processing and expense reporting, and also for Salesforce CPQ, the conference and quoting system.
We use Salesforce CPQ to quote and invoice our conference programs right now, and it has completely transformed the way that the sales team can provide professional and correct data and pricing to our clients. We invoice within Salesforce, and then we're able to sync that right into Intacct. So now all of our accounts receivable and reporting and everything is exactly the same as the sales team has intended for it to be in Salesforce.
What are some of the biggest benefits that the two of you seen from Intacct in your day-to-day lives here at IslandWood?
Our programs have grown and become more complex over the years, and we haven't had to add additional finance headcount. That's a real metric. In addition, we've been able to add those new programs into Intacct really easily because the system is so flexible.
And the integrity of our data is critical. We've been viewed as the go-to because we're seen as reliable and available to everybody now. Our program managers have been able to see how the financial component is critical to making program decisions, and they inherently trust our data now. Most of it comes from Salesforce and Intacct, so it's all reliable for them.
So it's impacted both of you. Are you able to tie the impact that Intacct has had to the larger mission of IslandWood?
Yes, we have. So instead of becoming just a recorder of information, we've become a real partner with our program managers. And in turn, they have increased their financial knowledge, which helps them deliver a bigger impact on their programs. For example, our director of school programs has education focus for her work, but she sees us as a real partner and comes to us for her financial decisions and planning. Specifically, we had a school cancel pretty close to their due date, and she came directly to me not only to figure out the financial impact, but to help her evaluate the different options of how we could make up that income.
I also understand that you've had great experience with Intacct's team. Can you tell me what's been so great about working with them?
Well, first, we've had zero downtime with Intacct in 5 years. That is amazing.
It is amazing, yeah.
Yeah, we've had excellent customer support. Anytime we've had an issue, they've had really rapid responses and comprehensive solutions to our issues. They've also done a great job with their product releases and offering new partner integrations and support. They've been thoughtful about how they go about their roadmap. It's not just a hodgepodge of little fixes, but it's really thinking about how it can comprehensively solve real issues for organizations like ours.
Are you able to share some of the bottom line results and metrics that you've seen as a result of your implementation of Intacct?
Absolutely. We've been able to manage our organization's growth without adding additional finance headcount. That's a savings of at least $15,000 a year. By eliminating a lot of spreadsheet use and data entry, we've saved hundreds of hours of labor costs every year as well. In addition, we have been able to shorten the monthly close time by at least 3 days. The integration with Salesforce has increased our visibility not only on the finance team, but also with our sales team and philanthropy as well. As we're able to gain that visibility, we're better able to monitor and track grants, programs, funders, which makes us more poised to make better financial and timely decisions.
One of the things we like to do on App Talks is leave our audience with some peer-to-peer advice. What would you tell other organizations looking to implement a solution like Intacct Cloud ERP?
Often in a nonprofit, there are diverse business segments, and they're often all using different systems. It's tough to measure the cost of what that does to an organization, from inefficiencies to lack of data integrity, employee frustration, and it also really creates a silo effect. Think of it as an investment. It might cost a little bit more than you're spending externally right now, but the costs associated with an outdated or disjointed system is definitely costing you more than you think.
Especially since nonprofits are not good about putting a cost to people's time.
And by using the right system, your costs won't rise as your organization grows.
Jennifer, Erica, thanks so much for hosting me, and thanks so much for coming on App Talks to share your story.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, our pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on another episode of App Talks.